so that means self-expression. All these demons, yo, they so aggressive. Many people, they possess them. Channeling make me rethink my message. You see the light, I'm the one who protects it. You hear they songs, it's gibberish, just like the infected. Words void and cold, got everything.
Peace, 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 family. How is you doing? Again, I am sorry for all the emails that everybody is about to be bombarded with. I mean, the videos that everyone is about to be bombarded with. Typical Eclipse shit, right? I should have had posted it a week ago, but I was like, let me save it for the 15th because that's when people are going to start to feel it. I do this every time to myself. You think by now I'd be better at when to post stuff. But anyway, I just made another video explaining that I was going to be talking about this. So I'll give another brief description. But before I get into that, how are you doing? My name is Keisha. I am the owner of A Way of Life. I am a career and business coach using astrology. And today we are going to be discussing the eclipses. I'm going to try to spend more time talking about what actual eclipses are, how long that they last, what kind of energy does it bring, and then I am going to get into the eclipse happening in Taurus, even though I've already done a pretty extensive video on this, and I've talked about it many a times before. But the reason I'm going over it again in this way, from this perspective, is because the last time I think I actually talked about what an eclipse actually even is was like back in 2020. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these videos, and then I'm going to do the separate houses, and if you're having it in these houses, what you can expect for each house. And then when I do the horoscopes, when I talk about it and incorporate in the transits, which will be on the actual day of or closer to the time of the eclipses, which is April 30th, if I'm not mistaken, is the first eclipse in Taurus. I'll just focus on the horoscopes around that time. And then when I do that video, people can just go straight to the playlist where I'll just give what house this is playing out for you in, and we'll do it that way. Okay. So please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notifications bell so that you are notified every time I go live. And let's jump right on in here. So each eclipse cycle is a 2-year-long cycle. And every 6 months, there are transits that reactivate the eclipse energy. Eclipses happen in 2 opposing signs, allowing to pull from one energy to give to the other. One example of this is a parent passing away and a child being born. I know people have seen stuff like this happen. I don't think it happens quite often, but that is the energy of an eclipse. Or another way to look at it, which I talk about a lot in my career videos, is the North and South node in your horoscope, which represent your life path and your skills and knowledge that you were born here with from a past lifetime all the way up until about age 30, 35. So the South node is the past life, and the North node is the mission and purpose of your life in this particular lifetime. But when you're having a transiting node, it's the collective mission of the North Node, and the collective South Node is where we are what things we're trying to let go of. And so the reason why I say this is your transferable skills is because a lot of the times it can be, an eclipse can be explained as the South Node is an area of life where you're letting go. Well, we know that change doesn't happen easily, and it happens over time. So what I've been trying to learn how to say in this recent recently, the more and more I get used to talking about them, is that not necessarily that you'll be letting it go, but it'll turn into your transferable skills. Like when I used to do resumes for people looking for a new career. For instance, if I was a career coach going to try to be in the health field, well, I would still have to use my skills and knowledge that I have from my career area of life, and then incorporate how that would relate to the skills and knowledge needed to make me look like a reliable candidate for this new healthcare field that I'm now interested in. And so it's really just about finding the similarities of the old way that you're doing things to help you move into a new way of doing things so that you can evolve, right? Essentially, that's what we're talking about, evolution. And so in that way, you can begin to feel these eclipse energies around this time. I say mid-March. So what is tomorrow? And it lasts, you start to feel these eclipses for up to 4 to 5 weeks before and after the transit. So I believe that's about 3 months each, altogether, rather. And so things can feel destined at this time, which can cause anxiety, as often things happen outside of your control. There can be dramatic and brilliant occurrences. So things being eclipsed in and things being eclipsed out of your life at this time. Eclipses bring big changes. They're connected to the North and South Node, which are points in your chart that relate to our highest expression in this lifetime. They're related to our dharma, fate, destiny, clearing, karma, hidden talent, non-negotiable shifts, death, rebirth, or birth, and just birth, any kind of transformation, or new people, or saying goodbye to old people, stress, drama, and a good time to manifest whatever it is that you want. And so the first eclipse will be on April 30th, which will be a solar eclipse in Taurus. It started back in November of 2021, but it officially moved into January of 2022, and they will end January of 2023. So this will last until May 16th, because then we have the Scorpio South Node eclipse happening on that date. The last time we had this eclipse, specifically in Taurus and Scorpio, was 2012 to 2014 and 2004 and 2005. So the best time to really try to understand what can happen for you now is to understand what was happening for you back then between those times. You may have the opportunity to close a chapter or continue a story in a different way. Themes that are going to occur, opportunities that to make a different choice, lessons that were learned, or patterns that can be revisited. I'm not ready. Okay? I just want you guys to know. Although I think this is a very exciting time because both Taurus and Scorpio are fixed signs. And I promise you, every time I think about this, I just see somebody banging their head up against the wall. Like, why are we revisiting this freaking issue? Oh, that's my impression of, fixed energy. It's like, oh my God, are we seriously having this conversation again? I'm not ready, y'all, but I am very, very excited. I am open and ready for this change. I am so over, like, these particular times in my life are cycles of when I was in my 30s, right? I had just finished up my Saturn return. And I'm telling you, anxiety doesn't even begin to describe my head banging up the wall. Oh my goodness, but I'm ready. I'm ready, y'all. I'm ready. And so the Taurus and Scorpio axis rules my stuff and our stuff, my sustainability and our sustainability, my resources and our resources. So shared resources, shared income, shared material possessions versus the spiritual world. That's what I think excites me the most, you guys, because I know as a society, especially, not so much me personally in my life. Like, I was just talking to my sister who's a Taurus, and she was like, yo, these gas prices is really making me want to sell my car. And I'm like, yes, secretly behind the scenes. Meanwhile, again, anxiety, she is already there. She's feeling this shit. And she's like, oh my God, I think I'm low-key depressed about the whole thing. But, you know, she still had a good attitude about it, which was awesome, by the way. But I feel like, in a sense, like, that's what's happening collectively. These things are coming up by way of showing us where in our lives we spend way too much money. Meanwhile, we have an entire spiritual reality that doesn't consist of the material world. And oftentimes when I think about the war that we're in, not to hopefully trigger anybody, as we are literally having a war, but trust me, war is always happening, right? In that sense where it's like the way to beat the war is to tap into your spiritual reality, your spiritual world. And I think people on an everyday level, consciously as a society, fight that fight the most. It's like, if I don't have stuff, if I don't have a house, if I don't have a car, I'm not cool, or I'm not a part of the society, or I don't fit in, or I'm awkward, or I'm weird, or it's awkward, or it's weird. Meanwhile, we was living our whole best life, y'all, well before all this stuff came here. And so, in a sense, for me, when I think about this energy, that's the bigger battle here that I am, like, so excited about, because I'm so ready to be a cave woman. Like, fuck it. I'm ready to just move out this fucking house. Go live in a cave and just be happy. But I'm not a materialistic person. So again, I know for other people that could be traumatizing. Trust me, that might sound really dramatic, but, like, seriously, it can be traumatizing to people. And I think we'll see a lot of trauma from that feeling of anxiety of, oh my God, because if I don't have this, I'm not, you know? I definitely think that smaller, more sustainable living is going to grow even more intensely after this transit. So I'm just going to put the disclaimer out there now. And which, by the way, to be quite frank, if you go on my IG page, since if you go back to my videos in 2020, like I've been screaming this from the rooftop, because what we are really talking about here is Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. And so that theme now has been brought to these eclipses, where it's going to intensify even more, family. So this is no joke. It is happening, whether we're ready to see it or not, but you could definitely see the writing on the wall with some things that are going on. Just like close your eyes and just start thinking about ways to be more frugal. Just get a budget. A budget is like a lifesaver that we were never freaking taught. It's literally your lifesaver, you know. If you were drowning out in the middle of the ocean, that somebody can throw you, that will literally, it's like the smallest thing, but it's so huge and could prevent so many different issues. But because we live in a spendthrift society, we're not taught those things. So it's like, budget who? What you talking about, Keisha? And so I think I have a video of I did a practice budget. I think maybe I can post it and do something on it so that I can show you how many different ways your budget can save your freaking life. Like literally. And you can still be trendy thrifty. You know, you could still have the excessiveness. It's just at first glance, before you get to that part, there might be a bit of a sacrifice needed to be taken to get on a schedule, to get some structure within it, and, you know, really stick to whatever your plans are. But for the most part, I'm telling you right now, if you want a simple start, just start studying a budget, any budget. Speak to an accountant, go somewhere where they help you do these. I know they got a whole bunch of different nonprofits out here that would do you know how much the financial nonprofits out here suffer because don't nobody care about their savings or budgeting? I bet you they'll get booming services now. But nonetheless, you know, do your research, Google nonprofit financial institutions and see. Even I think banks have, specific banks have like budgeting apps, and just like a slew of videos that can that give you advice on savings, budgeting, and all that other stuff. I'm just trying to think of so many other different ways where you might be able to find these things, just in case I don't get around to doing it. But I should probably write it down, because if I don't, I'll forget, y'all. I tell you, it's my brain. It's my brain. All right. So that's, if you don't remember anything else that I said in this whole entire live, all that right there, gold. Save your life. All right. The North Node in Taurus rules money, power, sexuality. Maybe you'll discover your sexual power. You can feel like fate steps in and brings opportunities that feel very fated. And the difference is, like, when you're aware of it, it feels like it was meant to be. So that's the description of fate. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to think of an example. But, I mean, the thing that comes to my mind the most is something that makes your eyes open wide and you get that pitter-patter in your heart, you know, in your heart chakra when you hear it. That's fate, okay? Anything that feels like that, that has that comes with that kind of expression, that's what it means to be fated. Anything else might be a little uncomfortable. Doesn't mean that it's still not fated, just a bit of a tougher lesson that's going to come with it, right? So there could be developments in the material world around agriculture, food systems, new technology, financial systems, protect the earth type projects, earth like projects, I guess I could just say that, security. It will be disruptive. It will feel disruptive, but good overall. On a personal level, people could be searching for tangible measures of success like land, food, security, maybe starting a garden, or if you go back to my Taurus and Uranus video, I broke some stuff down. Even my careers for 2020, 2021, and 2022 will give you a bunch of different ideas too. But those community gardens, I think they started them well, maybe it was like 5 years ago. I remember they started talking about this a lot, and then it died down, and we haven't heard from it since. And I think, you know, those things could become topics of discussion again. Let's see. Starting a garden. Financial rewards, wanting something stable, but needing to change to get it. Stability and security, emotional security, financial security are going to become more important. I even think a lot of marriages might end for this, because when I think about marriage, I think of Taurus energy as the foundation of what principles marriage should stand on. Like, you know, like people marry for money, they don't marry for money. Do they really think about those things? Are they being cognizant of those things? And so in some way, shape, or form, I think a lot of people will get divorced and begin to rethink the reasons why they connect with people. Like that idea of marrying for money, or because you have kids, or because you have kids together, sorry, or, you know, all of those. I wish I could think of more some of the reasons why, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm trying to say here. I think those things, there's going to be a death to the reasons why people get married moving forward, and it's going to be more about security, financial security, emotional security, and stability. All right, which is the way it was way back when. Who, what, where, why. Okay. Okay, default programming, karmic lessons or karmic debt that needs to be paid back, healing past trauma to remove fear, or just removing fear in general, not leaving unresolved issues behind. We'll stop relying on government money. Listen, that part, I'm not ready, y'all. Let go of luxury, developing your talents and skills, how to turn your talent into profit. I think businesses, small businesses particularly, that might sound crazy, but I promise you, small businesses will begin to gain more traction because of this downfall. Work patterns, how much can you make? The stock market obviously is going to change in a pretty drastic way. I'm thinking all Bitcoin at this point. I said food, right? Stock up on pantry goods. Homemade products are going to become a thing. Farming, gardening, family. Again, how you get married. I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand what I'm saying here. How we relate to each other. How we establish ourselves with a partner. self-love, and not being so defensive about stuff. Property prices might go down. Security systems, savings, value, self-value, self-worth, and purchase trends definitely gonna change drastically. I'm actually surprised that hasn't already changed, to be honest with you. And then trading between countries. So I know I repeated a lot of things in here, but I definitely just wanted to make sure that I hit as much things as possible. Again, this is a lot of repeat of the year. 2022 yearly videos I did on this, but still, I think it's good to repeat a lot of this stuff. I'll be going over it again with the horoscopes and the transits that it'll be hitting closer to the date. But you know how I do, family. I love and appreciate y'all, and I hope you found this information